Hey everyone, welcome back to the American Pop Culture Series channel. I hope that all of you are having a wonderful Thursday. So, there's a lot going on in our country right now. Unfortunately, today has been heavy for many people. There was multiple acts of violence that occurred yesterday with the passing of Charlie Kirk, as well as the act of violence. There's certain words we can say on YouTube, so I'll have to say the act of violence that occurred at the high school simultaneously, as well as today being the 24th anniversary of 9/11. So let's go ahead and recap the episode for today, September 11th. And the ladies opened up talking about Charlie Kirk and just really denouncing, any acts of political violence. And it is really heartbreaking. That's one sentiment that all the ladies shared, that no matter if you're a, Republican or a Democrat, or like me, I'm an independent, just being violent and taking someone's life is never the answer. It's never the right thing to do. And so many people are grieved because of his passing. They don't know who did it. There have been a few arrests made, but neither of the men that they arrested were kept into custody. So the person who committed this act of violence is still on the loose. And Alyssa talked about how she knew Charlie personally, because they're both Republicans and they were both fairly young. I think Alyssa's a few years older than him, but he passed at only 31. And he is survived by his wife and his two children, which is heartbreaking. But all of the, like I said, all of the ladies just basically said that regardless of where you stand politically, left, right, or in the middle, there's never any kind of justification for political violence. And, I'm hopeful that one day we can put this behind us and come together as Americans. Um, Speaking of Americans, right? So we have American Ferrera. She's on, and she's talking about. Well, I'm sorry. Before I get to America, she's the guest. Um, that was a nice segue, but I want to talk about 9/11 before I talk about her. So this is the 24th year, the 24th anniversary of the attack on the World Trade Center, and everybody, I'm sure, remembers where they were. Um, it was really a horrific, time. All the ladies were talking about where they were. Joy, um, she was, calling, talking to her daughter. Her daughter was actually on a plane, and she told her daughter to get off the plane, and so the daughter, was, I guess, pulling like the "Do you know who my mom" card is. But anyway, she did. She ended up getting off the plane. There was just a lot of confusion at the time. Sarah said that she was a page at NBC, and she remembers that after this horrific attack, the one silver lining was that it really brought Americans together. And so that's, I'm hoping that um, during times of tragedy that you can look toward your fellow American and come together. It seems almost a lifetime ago that this happened. Of course, 24 years is essentially a generation, but I remember that time as well. And I do remember that, you know, um, my boyfriend at the time, he had um, family in New York. And so just, kind of helping him through it. Thankfully, all of his family was okay, but we can't say that for for other Americans. A lot of people lost their loved ones. And so just taking time to comfort those in need and to help out your fellow man, your fellow countrymen, is always something that we advocate for. Um, Whoopi Goldberg said that she was in LA and she had just finished doing the Hollywood Squares. And she said that after the attack that they said that they needed her tour bus to take people, to and fro from the airport. And so, she said she was happy to help and willing to do it. And that's the kind of thing that, you want. Sunny said that she I believe was um, working in New York as a prosecutor, and she said I think like her husband was in D.C. Of course, we remember not only did the planes hit in New York, but they also went to the Pentagon, and they went, I think, another one to like Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. But to know that it was almost a quarter of a century ago, it's like wow, time flies. But the time afterwards, where people really embraced one another and were kinder to each other. It was something that's definitely needed in this day and age. Okay, so moving on to America Ferrera, Sarah asks her about, what she thought about the newest ruling from the Supreme Court in regards to racial profiling, and how, Justice Sonia Sotomayor just came on recently and wrote a dissent. So that she just basically said that she's terrified. She said as a daughter of immigrants, just speaking Spanish is not something, or looking Latino shouldn't be something that would get you stopped and harassed or profiled by the authorities. She says that she would hope that all Americans would be similarly, outraged and terrified as well. Um, and they talk about, Ugly Betty, the show that she was on. She said that she was on it when she was 21. I didn't realize it, she was like in her early 20s, so that was really cool. So just the fact that it was a show. She said that when it first came on, her and her co-stars knew there was lightning in a bottle, and that she stayed close with like Vanessa Williams and the rest of the cast throughout the years. She said that she misses it. She misses the fact that they don't get to just go on set and get paid to be there with each other. And it's really cool, like when you have people that you enjoy working with, and just have fun together, and you get paid to show up and just do your jobs, and especially in the entertainment business, make people smile. That must be an amazing feeling. And so she is talking about her new film coming up with Matthew McConaughey, and it's produced by Jamie Lee Curtis. It's called The Lost Bus, and it's talking about a real life teacher who is taking care of children in need. Right? There's a tragedy that happens, and she said that while the teacher is taking care of other people's babies, somebody was taking care of her own babies. And so she said that that's something that the teacher still. This is based on a true story, and the teacher's still teaching. That she's a sweetheart. That's something that you definitely want. And inspire people to do, is right, to, again, going back to the beginning of the episode, just to help out your fellow Americans. So, and I love her first name too, right, America. Of course, that's what our channel's named after. But yeah, I really enjoyed just the dialogue of all the ladies talking today, even though, like I said, it's been a heavy day, not only one of remembrance. So everyone who lost their life at 9/11 will never forget that, but also the passing of Charlie Kirk, and just the divisiveness, and I encourage all of you that if you are someone who prays for our country, to just keep everyone lifted in prayer, because we definitely need it. This is not the time to be divisive, but to hopefully come together, right? One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you know, you know. But as Americans, that's something that, at least I hope one day, we can all come together and get back to being there for one another. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. It's gorgeous weather out and here in the Midwest. And please let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you later. Take care and take care of each other. Bye.